All right, let's see how this works. Let's see how this works.
I didn't know it was this slow still.
We'll see if maybe the community will complain. We'll see. If so, we'll just do a short one.
Use your 5G.
But I'm streaming through both. You know how much data that's going to be? What's up, Tony? Ben, Rachel. How are everybody doing? Welcome to Simulation Talk 241. Let's get some people flowing in. What's up, Charlie? How are you, brother? This is, I'm not sure if the reception is good enough here. I'm traveling today. So for streaming from an Airbnb, and I'm not sure that the reception is that great. So we'll find out. But it might not be that good. We'll see. We'll see how it feels. We'll get there. What's up, fast? Charlie, how's the reception? What's up, Guru? Good to see you. Just fine. Amazing. Well, that feels good. That feels good. FS. It's a little far from me from the phone, so I'll be responding a little slower to the phone. In any case, welcome everybody to Simulation Talk 241. Thank you for always following us. What red laser did you use for the experiment? You can find all that information on codeofreality.com. I'll put it here in the chat. You guys can always go and see all the stuff written on YouTube on Dango Thoughts, which we're streaming from as well. DANGO Thoughts. But the website is codeofreality.com, where you can find the type of a laser. There's the one that we make, but there's also suggestions there from Amazon that you can just get. Code of Reality, Code of Reality. .com. That is our website. Put the direct link also, so you can just click on it. There you go. Thank you for the question. I'm doing great, Guru. How are you feeling today? Traveling for, we're going to have a baby shower. Came to see some family. Thank you so much, Guru. I appreciate that. It's muggy outside today. Remind me where you are. What's up, Adam? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And let's see. If you guys want to follow us on Twitch, it'll be LaserX83. If you do have Twitch, come and help us out to help the channel grow. Our account on Twitch is LaserX83. LaserX83. Let's see what we got there. Woo! Last time we were lacking. It was only 2 viewers. Come on, guys. Let's give it a push. Let's get some more viewers in there. LaserX83. Let's get it. We don't want to go under 3. We got to do, on average, 3 per stream. That's our goal. Thank you so much, Charlie. This is actually going to be our second one, because we have a lot of people. So this is one that is closer to a lot of the family. Massachusetts. Well, yeah, Massachusetts is foggy pretty often, isn't it? Information is fed into quantum fields, and then through quantum processes gets turned into the subatomic particles, and so on. Is there a message you said before that I missed? Or this was the context of the message? Just found you through the podcast interview you did with Danny Jones. My mind is blown. Can't wait to try the experiment. Thank you so much, Brendan. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you. And yeah, I really enjoyed my conversation with Danny. So it's great. And appreciate you being here. So, you can find all the information about the experiment on codeofreality.com. By the way, if you're not part of our Discord community, this is a great opportunity to mention you should come and join. We have a lot of great people exchanging ideas, notes, experiments, and all kinds of good stuff on our Discord. You can find the link to the Discord in my link tree on TikTok and on YouTube on the main page. It's the third link from the top from all my social media on YouTube. What else can I say? Oh, by the way, in the store, I don't have it with me today, but there's also our merch. We have the shirts and the mugs that are limited edition. This is the old logos, and I think it's kind of cool to own the old logo because it's never going to exist again. So it's going to be a collector's item. If the project is going to grow to the magnitude that we believe that it will be kind of cool to be among the maybe 40 people, or maybe, well, the total I think is like 100 shirts total of that design. There's no more. We have only a few left, so you can go and get yourself one, and you're helping the project. And you're going to have a really cool item that's never going to exist again because we have a new logo, and this logo that you see in the store now will never exist again. Let's see. Thank you for the links, Guru. I appreciate you. We have our wonderful moderators putting the links on YouTube. If you want to follow us on YouTube, it's Dango Thoughts. DANGO Thoughts. Telling someone about this and a line pops up. See? Isn't that amazing, Kundalini? Are you rising? I'm prepping all my Dan jokes. How many times have you done the experiment? Do you get the same results each time? Yes, we always get the same exact results. We've done the experiment at this point thousands of times. Thank you for the question. Hey, Kirsten. Good to see you. Already risen? Nice. What's up, Lisa? Joe. Ale. Sometimes eyes. Nico! How are you, brother? Okay, nice. We have people showing up, which is wonderful. Slowly going up, just like Kundalini. Maurice is in the house. Love avocado toast. Nice. I'm going to save this. This is kind of cool. That is a really great. Saved it. Took a snapshot of this. This is great. Very creative. What's up, Nemi Cat? Thank you so much for following through Twitch. I appreciate you. All the other people that want to help our Twitch grow, please go to Twitch. LaserX83 on Twitch. LaserX83. What's up, Nicola? Okay, let's see what we can get into today. I'm like a comedian when they go on stage. I just spend like 10 minutes meandering, just walking around saying, "How you doing?" Just warming up. Let's see if there's any particular questions. I would love to answer them because today is probably not going to be a very long chat. Let's see if we can get into any particular topic. Hello from St. Louis. Hello, hello. Good to have you with us, Phil. Henry is saying, Henry Craig, I missed 240 chats about simulation theory. Nice. You did, but it's all recorded. So you can binge watch it. It's all on, aside from maybe, I think, so I started doing them only on TikTok in the beginning. and I kept the numbers the same one, so it's going to be consistent because I'm streaming there as well every time. But I think if I'm not mistaken, from number 10 is when we started here. But you can go back and check. Maybe it was 30 or something, but most of them are here. If the universe is a simulated reality, then could quantum field be the translator from information to 3D matter in which we perceive to see? We just need to find who is fitting the information. Yes, absolutely. In fact, the quantum state, I would say, is the informational field. They're one and the same. Great question. Can we talk cats, guys? Yes, we can always talk cats. Because cats are quantum and everybody knows that. Otherwise, they don't make any sense. Aaron, the director of the film that we're working on, is in the house. Always makes me very happy. Also, am I supposed to be like more animated and performative, Aaron, when you come on, just so we have more material for the movie? There's like a little. Do you like my shorts for the film? With that angle. I just said we can talk about cats. They're quantum. I watched the recent podcast you did. Can you please explain the beings and their abilities? Ooh, Charlie, that's a long conversation. The beings conversation is a very long one. Not gonna have enough time today, but I always appreciate your questions, so please keep asking him. What's up, Val? Hello to everyone. Guru saying hello. Black cats are definitely interdimensional travelers. I'm pretty sure that all of them are. What's up, Shai? Stay quiet tonight. Well, PDX, good to have you regardless. I hope you're not referring to the other time. If it's tongue-in-cheek as a joke, great. But please don't stay quiet just because I told you last time that whatever you said was meaningless, because I didn't mean to say that you're meaningless. I meant to say that these kind of statements, to me, they're meaningless. But if it is just a joke and a play on that moment, then I accept it. But please don't stay silent. Please voice your opinion. In fact, the more the merrier. In fact, the more opinions I feel that we can push back on one another, the better. That's where the beauty is. Good. I'm glad it's a joke. What's up, Ebony? The mother of the community, Ebony. I feel like if you have to be the architect, I feel like you may be the oracle, Ebony, in the Matrix. Much love, PDX. I like the description you had about the beings that could shake the space. It was funny that they were all showing themselves when the authority being appeared. Yeah, that was really funny. What you're referring to is the podcast that I did on the Balanced Man. Let me find it. It's a good conversation. I really enjoyed it. You guys should all give him a follow. He's great. He's wonderful. Balanced Man. Let's see. Oh, no, not the Balanced Man. Is it? Because that's actually Terry's channel, which is also great and wonderful. Let's subscribe to this as well. The Balanced Man is actually a wonderful retreat in Costa Rica that our friend Terry is doing for recovering. It's a men retreat, the Balanced Men, but it is helping men who are recovering from different addictions. It's a wonderful one, so you guys should follow that as well. The Balanced Men. But what was the name of the channel in which I was on the conversation? Embodied Men. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is the conversation that we've had. Well, I posted a bunch of clips. That's kind of cool. I like it. Okay, so videos, glitch in the matrix, yada yada yada. This is the full conversation. Share, copy. Guru probably already put it in the chat. I know. I'm very slow. I'm gonna finish the task. Wait, there you go. Okay. Chaim slow. There you go. That's the conversation. And what Charlie's referring to is a moment in the conversation in which I was describing that some kind of an authority figure entered the room and was basically doing like a little checkup on everything that existed in the space. And even the dark being that came out, that was kind of like showing their ability in a very timid way. They're like, "Oh, this is what I do," which was made it clear to me that whatever entered the room was very serious and nothing messes with that. It was just a very deep authority figure, which was great. It's very interesting to watch. Who did I wave? What do you think comes after AGI? AGI 2. I mean, obviously. Is the movie you're making still projected to be out in 6 months or so? Yes. Thank you for the question, Phil. It is on YouTube Discord section, indeed, but I always want to share it here as well. Tapioni, good to see you. Thank you, Ebony, for the updates as well. Charlie's asking, does the authority being cause a ringing in one of your ears? No, it's not one of those things. The authority figure was very it was very it was there. Like it was not a little ring or anything like this. It was very something is present. Literally everything in the house just went whoop. Don't move. But I know what you're talking about. The ringing in the ears is a common thing. What's up, Ben? Sonia, Jerry. Highly anticipating. It would be an understatement. Talk about the film? Yeah, I'm actually very excited about it too. Aaron Venden, who's the director of the film, is an absolute master. And I think he's getting a little bit uncomfortable every time I'm saying it, but I don't care because he is amazing. And I know no pressure, but what he will deliver will be unbelievable because I'm seeing the level of attention to detail, the mastery, the understanding, the artistry of how he approaches everything. So I know for a fact it's going to be amazing. But again, no pressure, and of course, you just pop back in. No matter what question you have, PDX saying, you will never guess about what you see self-evident. Can you expand on that, PDX? I'm not sure that I understand the comment. I'm going to read it again, but I don't think I understand if you can clarify it. You say, no matter what question you have, dash, you will never guess about what you see self-evident. I think I maybe understand the direction of your question, but yeah, but I don't know what that means. If you can clarify. He just said, yep. I'm like, okay, but I don't know what that means. Is that the point? That they can't understand the sentence? That's very funny. There's a lot of details with self-evident things that I think would be very interesting to talk about, but I do want to understand your comment first. I see where the comment should go. You'll never guess about what you see that is self-evident. Is that what you mean to say? Nothing outside of yourself can give you answers. Yeah, that's a deep philosophical back and forth, and I think we had some of it last time, but I think that it really depends on what you're trying to define. Because I think that if you want to postulate that there is no external world, then either way, no matter what you would say, this would always be the case, right? Everything is a projection of your inner state. I'm just not sure I'm biting. So I don't think it's correct to say that there's nothing but your internal state. I think that is a confusion. I know it's a very common trope that people say nowadays in spiritual circles. I just don't think it's true. I think that we we definitely have something that is outside of us, and that thing is in some relationship to what we are, and we are in co-creation of what you see is going on. So you have your version of it, but it is as objective as you would imagine it to be, with, or according to my frame, that thing is as objective. It is as objective as you would imagine it to be from a physicalist perspective. It's just a different kind of thing than a physicalist thing, but it is definitely outside of you, so to speak. And I think that the moments of understanding, they're moments of a communion. They're moments of a relationship with whatever that is. So there's an intersection point between what it allows for in the possibility space and what we are capable of projecting on it. So there's some variation of what it is and what it can appear to you, but at the same time, it is still a bound space. It's not an infinite space. Exemplified by the fact that you still, even though you can perceive things in many different ways across many different individuals, nevertheless, there are some, let's say, convergences that we can agree on, right? So there's consensus of some sort. That consensus is the average of all the different perceptions, including all the types of things that it can perceive according to what the space allows for in that instance, in that developmental stage. That is important because I think you can build a much more accurate picture of what's going on. And honestly, to me, it's a more beautiful picture. I like the idea that there's infinitely there to explore, even if ultimately all you can ever experience is your own personal perception of it. Nevertheless, there are things, or so I would claim, that can be said about the more universal frame outside of what you perceive. In other words, there is a type of a translation that can happen between what you believe you perceive and what you believe others perceive, and there's some common ground you can stand on that you can agree on, right? And in that sense, I think to say that nothing will from the outside ever tells you, gives you a moment of understanding, I don't think it's correct. I think, in fact, it is a relationship that you create with whatever in fact is going on. What's up, angels and earth? Yeah, for me, the internet is a bit slow. So if I'm lagging, apologies. I say hi to people here. Let's see. I have a theory. We exist inside a quantum super intelligent machine created simulation. Wonderful. I think answers are given by that interaction, basically. You're just talking about visual confirmation of a thing, because that sentence would kind of follow. Have a good night, Bill. An observation gives you more information, but not answers. I know you're limited with number of words, so I'm trying to do my best to try and discern the deeper thing that you're trying to say. I think what you're trying to say is, that there is no way to perceive something that is what we call objective. I think the problem begins when we use these words in a way that we shouldn't intend to use it in. So I'll clarify. First, let me see if you didn't say more comments that might clarify your position. The most beautiful thing that it is subjective. I would agree with that. However, I would not agree that it doesn't have this objective component. So, and I think defining what we really mean or should mean by the term subjective and objective matters here, because otherwise we might be saying the same thing just using different words. So the only way that these things can be relevant is if we can map them on to what is possible to do in general or experience. Fill in the verb. It doesn't really matter what you mean by that. It's just what kinds of experiences you can map onto, or how many points of contact you can make with what will unfold, and project them from your frame, whatever you believe in fact is going on, right? Or whatever you think is the correct thing that is going on. And it's true that we'll always have this horizon beyond which you can't see, where the rest of whatever in fact is going on is happening. And it feels to me like you might say that beyond that point of the horizon, nothing really is going on. It's just all pure potential. Would that be an accurate description of what you probably, like, the frame you're holding? I don't want to put words in your mouth. So while you're answering, what? Oh, you need this? Can you give me another bottle? Yeah. So if the answer to what I just said, that's what you think is yes, okay, I would say that it seems on the surface that there's no way to substantiate this, but I think that ultimately that part doesn't matter as much. Thank you, Marsha. Thank you for the gifts. What matters is, can you map it onto something that is useful, functional, and not even from a utilitarian perspective, just from the perspective of verifiably that in fact is the right direction of thinking. You don't have to think in terms of like, well, can we manipulate something with it or do something with it, which I believe that a lot of people believe that is what all science is about, trying to manipulate or control nature. I don't think that's the case at all. I think science is in the business of understanding. But in order to know that you understood something, which is not a trivial thing, because you can be not understanding it, which is a different state. It is the cash value of it is that you can show yourself that you do understand it by mapping it onto something that can actually happen, that you anticipated, or you saw that it is happening in a certain way, certain amount of times, or whatever it is. And in that regard, imagining that it's an infinitely unfolding possibility space, if it then somehow solidifies into an actuated state by your attention, which is what I believe you're postulating. So in other words, the second you put a certain kind of attention on it, it becomes a certain thing, and before there's just a pure possibility space. If you're really in the business of trying to explain the world, and you might not be, but this is why we have to define our terms and our games. If we are in the game of trying to discern what in fact is true about the world, this is a binary statement. It either is true or it isn't, and it does not contain the possibility of being both. I know people love to make this move, like, well, it is and it isn't. That's not a legal move on this part of the description, because you're talking about the ultimate state of affairs. That's why it's not a legal move. If you're talking about something within, partial, like within the frame, you can talk about different interactions within it that might contain a possibility state. But in the end of the day, you still have to explain, if you're in the business of trying to explain the world, you still have to explain how this infinite possibility space gives rise to not just to the content that you decided that when you put the attention on, it becomes that. You have to explain, and this is important, and it might be difficult to understand in the beginning, but you have to explain, why is it exactly that? Not just that it could be anything and it became whatever it is that you decided. You have to explain, why is it exactly what you decided or what made sense to you. So the mechanism by which it's being translated to this, it really you're still stuck with the same problem, because on the one hand, you're trying to describe from the most classical perspective, you're trying to describe how are the laws of physics give rise to this perception that you have. So this invisible possibility space of some kind of rules that the nature plays by somehow translates to this thing that seems to be a completely different kind of thing, which is your experience of it. Here you have a slightly different problem, but it's not very different, because if you're saying it's an infinite possibility space, okay, what is it made out of? Possibilities? What does that mean? Now, some people bite the bullet, and they then this is the part of the conversation they just kind of they go by, they just slide into the infinity of the esoteric. They just go into this like, well, it's beyond comprehension. Like, okay, well then you're trying to do something else. Then you're not trying to explain the world, which is fine. But the conversation between subjective and objective is very often being confused with the conversation of actual and not actual. And I think those are different things. To say that subjective is because there's points of perception that map on to something, I can tell you that the idea that there is nothing objective is simply not actually, it's not a rational, it's not a coherent idea, because what can only be actually meant by the objective space, if you truly take it to its ultimate point, it can only be the ultimate state of affairs as it finds itself in any given instance or point of space, of time, of any other dimension. Whatever it is that reality is doing as a whole. It might have 80 Google dimensions with twisting balls and hamsters flying around. It doesn't matter how weird the description that you're giving it. Whatever it is, in any point of space and time or any other dimension you can ever comprehend or not comprehend, that is the objective state. Notice that the fact that we will never gain access to that ultimate state does not nullify the fact that the objective state exists. That is exactly where the confusion happens. Nobody says that you will somehow always know everything there is to know. Of course not. That's not a coherent idea either. But there is a truth to the matter, which is actually where the happens, which is that somehow everything does work. And we know this just by the fact that something is happening right now for you. That's it. The fact that anything coherent is going on at all tells you that there's some structure that gives rise to this experience somehow. That tells you that there is some state of affairs that is unfolding, and that is a complete binary. There is no, well, it is and it isn't. It's like, no, it either is or it isn't, and it is because you're experiencing it. And how it comes about, that's a separate question. And I think that depending on what your goal is, whether to gain more wonderful experiences in this world, and which understanding it might not be part of that family of things that you care about or value, and that's totally fine. But then if we are talking about understanding the world, then the smuggling of the it's all subjective does not actually describe the full state of affairs, which is absolutely objective. In other words, there is some kind of a thing that is happening that somehow gives rise to all the possible experiences. And that thing would be the objective, the observer, the objective state. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So today I'm going to have to end it abruptly. I know it was like super short, but I have to jump off for today. Thank you so much for this very short interaction. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for our wonderful moderators. Thank you so much for all the community members and for wonderful comments. If you want to follow me across platforms, it'll be Danny Goller on TikTok and on Instagram. It'll be Goller Danny. Just swap them on X. It'll be LaserX83 on Twitch and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Check out our website where we have our merch and our lasers. It's codeofreality.com, codeofreality.com. You can also join our Discord community, which you can, the links to which you can find on my TikTok link tree up there and up there, and on YouTube on my main page, third link from the top. As well as you can, on YouTube, you can join the membership program, which includes weekly lives with me, which happen on Sunday, in which we dive deeper into subjects, and it's for members only. We have a lot of fun, watch videos together, we do all kinds of things, and early access to my content, private things in my life that will exist nowhere else but on YouTube members, and Zoom calls with me once a month if you sign up for the second tier and up. All of these help the project unfold. I appreciate everybody who making this community what it is. Much love, everybody. To our wonderful moderators and to the community members. Love you guys. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Ciao.